All right, so here's a cool startup on the 2026 GMC Sierra 3500. Preheat is done. Not bad. It's 39 degrees outside and there's no sun. Now, normally I show you guys a window sticker, the exterior and interior, then I'll do it dry. But today I want to show you guys how to properly preheat this diesel, right? Because this is a big deal and a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions here. Now, you guys know I love to plug my truck in, and I'll show it to you guys here in a second. But right here, I let the truck sit for about a minute, and now I'm just driving it at low speeds. Now you can see that the coolant is kind of starting to really get up there. It's probably over 110 degrees where it is right now. And if you live pretty close to the highway, no big deal. This truck does have a 15W40 oil, so you want to take it easy. And if you do live in like climates where it can get down less than 0 and then highs can be like in the single digits, you definitely want to run that 5W40. They say you can run 15W40 down to 0. I don't recommend you do that unless you're plugging your truck in. That's probably the only scenario where I would do, you know, 15W40 in those really low temperatures. But regardless of it, you know, you want to take it easy, number one. Number two, you want to make sure you allow the truck to do this preheat process too. The goal here is to prevent fuel dilution. I see people will allow their trucks to idle for like, what, 5, 10, 15 minutes, which I think is the worst thing for these trucks personally. Now, if you go to settings and vehicle, and you go down to climate and air quality, you want to make sure that your enhanced heating is on. I'm not sure why these trucks are not being delivered with that function on. This will allow the truck to basically preheat if you're remote starting it from the house, okay? So make sure you're doing this. That way this engine can get up to optimal temp. That way you're not causing any engine wear prematurely. Now we're about to get on the highway. I would venture to say oil temp is probably over 100 degrees right now, but you know, GM doesn't tell you that pertinent information whatsoever. I don't understand why they don't. And I highly recommend you get the Banks iDash Pro simply for that, because you can see your actual oil pressure. Oil pressure is now actually at a good spot too. Hopefully you guys can see the oil pressure there. We're pretty good on oil pressure. And let's go ahead and get up to about 70 miles an hour. If you really want the engine to heat up quicker too, using that exhaust brake is a good idea. But yeah, a lot of people ask me questions about how does the dually trucks ride, how does trucks with camper packages ride, and I couldn't answer that question because I could not find a truck with a camper package, and the one I found was already sold. I waited for the truck thinking it was available, but it was someone's sold order, and I don't drive sold order pickup trucks or anyone's sold order unless the customer's okay with it. But regardless, if you're concerned about the way these trucks ride with the camper package, just drive a dually truck. If you find a dually, this should give you a good perspective of how your truck's going to ride. And I would venture to say it's going to be a little bit more bouncier like this one, because you are going to be running a stiffer front suspension on the truck. So let's go ahead and jump into the video. I want to show you guys this new color on the Denali, and this being a dually. I haven't done one on this truck yet, so I'm interested to show you guys some of the features and show you the price. I'm really liking this new color, guys. Now, if you are in the market, be sure to look up Jerry Seiner GMC here in South Jordan, Utah. This truck is available for sale. You can ask for Frank, who is now a sales manager, so it's a one-stop shop with him, guys. Let's go ahead and check out the window sticker so you guys can see some of the options and features on this build. At the very top is the description with the color. So Glacier White Tri-Coat is the new color for 2026. And then this is a short listing of the standard features. Be sure to pause to see more. Now, base price does come in at $79,000 $100, and the diesel option is $9,990. Denali Reserve is $2,335, and this does include the technology package. Power retractable running boards $1,500. Glacial White was $1,095 option. Gooseneck and fifth wheel is $545, and this does have the high idle switch, and then trailer tire pressure for $50. It's a no-brainer for that much money. Now destination is $2,595 for a total price of $96,910. This truck is not cheap. Nearly $100 for a regular Denali. Man, they are getting expensive for sure. Now, just take one more time and marvel at this color. It has like a grayish blue tint to it for sure. And when you see it from far away, like there's one right there. I'm not sure if you guys can tell, but there's like a white truck next to it, and you can definitely tell it has like a nice gray hue, mostly I would say, with this pearl paint. But you guys see on the front end, premium lighting comes standard, painted bumpers, and the reason why you get a Denali is because you want the chrome. And I will say with this color, the chrome looks really good. Front parking sensors, you can see that camera. Now they do not give you active grille shutters on the dually pickups. Chrome recovery hooks. And then here's a quick peek at that suspension. Independent, double wishbone, fabric liner for the wheel well, and then here are the tires. This is probably my favorite thing about the GM pickups. You can get these 18-inch wheels on the higher trim levels. LT 235/80 18-inch wheel, 8 lug. And then if you care to see the capacity for the tires, it's right here. So 3,195 pounds for single and 2,910 pounds for dual at 80 psi cold. Michelin tires. Love that. Now here's where your engine block heater plug is, right there. Get some clearance lights. Also you have your turn signals, and then these lights can come on when your truck is stationary. And here's a side view. Power deployable running boards. Should you skip them? $1,500. I mean, that's not too expensive, I would say. If you did it aftermarket, it'd probably be about $2,000 when you consider installation too. It could be a little bit more than that, honestly. A little bit of chrome here. Smart key system. More lighting. Blind spot alert, and that top mirror is heated. And they do give you the side steps here. 36-gallon fuel tank, 7-gallon DEF. More clearance lights on the side of that dually bed. And this truck had the liner. You don't normally see these trucks with the liners. When they first refreshed these trucks, these are on a constraint. So every truck I reviewed back then, I want to say, didn't have it. You guys can see, that's why you buy a dually. You have 4 leaves in that main pack and then 3 overloads. So it's a little different from the single rear wheels. And then there's that rear wheel design. That looks so stinking good. Sequential turn signals for the front and rear. More steps out back. Parking sensors. And clearance lights right there. Multi-Pro tailgate comes standard. They did take away the handle, however. Okay. 4 and 7 pin, bed lights, and be sure to check out the description for my Juggernaut promo code if you want to get some straps built into your truck. Really easy to install too, by the way. 400 watts of power right there. 5th wheel prep package, and you have 2 cameras, LED lights, defrost with power sliding glass. One thing I like about the dually is you have to get clearance lights, and if you get an HD truck, that should just be mandatory in my opinion. Camera provisions, 7 pin, class 5 hitch, and there's your spare tire. Also 342 rear, 12-inch ring gear, automatic locker. I want to say this is the only dually that has a locker too, by the way. 6.6 liter DURAMAX diesel V8 configuration, good for 470 horsepower, 975 pound-feet of torque. All that power goes through a stamped approved Allison. Okay, it does still say Allison on this truck because it was built before January 1. That 10-speed, despite what people say about it, that's the main reason why this truck can tow what it can today. Remember, back in the day, max tow from 2019 and earlier pickups was like 23,000 pounds. Now this truck can tow over 30,000. I'll show that to you guys here in a second. Now, if I were buying this truck today, the first thing I would do is relocate these manifold absolute pressure sensors. One here, one right here. Banks has that promo code down below. You see right here, this is your EGR system. It puts a lot of soot in this intake manifold, and those sensors get dirty, which means you get inaccurate readings for your fuel economy. On top of that, you could have performance affected. So I'll show you a picture of mine at 20,000, 22,000 miles, somewhere in there. I pulled mine, and I highly recommend just relocating those for sure. Let's check out the interior really quickly. As far as the interior goes, Denali gives you a really nice setup here. You guys can see you have like this wrinkle design for the leather. Great stitch patterns. Great piping here. And you guys see how the wood goes from this dark to light? Love that. And I like how they give you like this accent around these controls here. 12-way, meaning you can go up and down with the lumbar, in and out. Now, obviously people do complain about the size of their seats, and I agree. I want to see bigger seats in the future from them for sure. Here's some of your lighting controls, and then drive modes with full-wheel drive. You can see automatic full-wheel drive, electronic parking brake, controls for your heads-up display, tilt and telescoping steering wheel. You guys can see it's heated. Large screens, dual climate control, heated ventilated seats. Love that center console right there. It does say Denali right there. Now you guys see on the roof, light color roof does match like the piping that you saw here. And I'm not a huge fan of lighter color roofs, but at least they made it work for the interior. By the way, I don't think they've ever had a fabric material for the A-pillar, so that's interesting. I don't think I've ever seen that in the past. Out back, 60/40 bench. And seat back pockets, also heated outboard seats, air vents, USBs, and they do give you an indentation in the roof for better headroom. Also, you have that space underneath the seat. Now really quickly, I want to show you guys this. This is your engine block heater plug. So this side plugs into the side of the truck as you guys saw earlier. And then you would plug this side into your house style plug. So again, as I said earlier, if you want your truck to last a long time, by all means use this. Here's passenger side, 12-way seat. And again, just note how nice the stitch pattern is on these seats too. Dash has premium materials up here. They do provide like this velvet material so things don't rattle around. And I always like to show you guys your bed camper capacity, which is 4,417 pounds. That's not the payload, so I'll show it to you guys here in a second. But yeah, overall, this is a really nice pickup truck. Let's go ahead and check out what the payload is. You guys have pretty much seen all of this stuff here, and if you want to see inside the screen, I'll put a video at the end here. But yeah, the exhaust brake, lane keep assist alert, parking sensors can be disabled. You can drop the tailgate, caution lights, traction control, and then all four windows can go down together. Gross axle weight rating out front can be 6,000 pounds. The rear is 10,400 pounds, which is class leading. Gross vehicle weight rating is 14,000 pounds. 18 by 6.5 wide wheels, and then all-in payload is 5,167 pounds. Conventional towing is 20K. Gooseneck is 31,000 pounds. That's nearly what, almost 10 10,000 pounds more than the 2019 and earlier pickups. And remember, this configuration is not max tow, okay? Curb weight is 8,833 pounds, 40,000 pound gross combined weight rating. And then here's that yellow sticker showing the tire pressure. So 75 PSI out front, 70 in the rear. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As I said, if you're in the market for a truck, be sure to reach out to Jerry Seiner, ask for Frank, and I'll see you guys in the next one.